Okay. So I lowered my quality and I switched back to the Australian server, so maybe this is better now. Anyway, let me know if this happens again, I guess. Am I planning to implement some kind of encryption to the packets? No, I'm not going to bother with that. I mean, I don't really care because this is like, it's just like a little game that we're making. Like, this isn't like, I don't know. I guess if you guys are really, it's not difficult particularly to do that. Like, perhaps like the serialization format itself could support encryption. Just like we have to make it support compression probably as well. I mean, we probably don't have to. But anyway, it wouldn't be too difficult to add both like compression and encryption to the serialization format itself. And then obviously if you do that, then you don't have to worry about that too much. Remember, this is like a kind of a tutorial video, so any kind of encryption that I do add to this will be able to, like, you guys will know what encryption I use. So it's like, it's not really going to be encrypted. Like you can easily, fake it because you know the key, for example. But anyway, that's fine. We can talk about that later. We just want to get the base thing up and running. Okay, so we have to connect to the server here. So we need to open up a client connection. So I guess we'll create some kind of like net client type deal, right? So we'll have like a client potentially that we create. I'm just trying to think about what I want the API to be like. So I guess we can do something like string server localhost port 8192 is like my favorite port of all time, as you guys know. So we'll just do that. So we have an address that we can connect to, which I mean, that's totally fine. We'll just force it to be in like this format. I mean, I guess we can separate the port potentially. Okay, so we have kind of the stuff that we want to do. So I guess we just start up a client, right? A rain client. I'll call it a rain client. Okay, so we'll make a rain client class. And this is basically going to be mostly copied from my ChernoChat code, which you can find by just Googling ChernoChat. Okay, so we have basically a datagram socket. We basically have so this is going to be the initial connection. I'm not sure we can have multiple sockets that we can talk about later. We're just going to get one for now. So inet address. So this will be the server address. So we obviously make a new rain client by opening a connection to a specific port and stuff, which we can also store here. And then I guess we'll just do a public void connect, or maybe a bool lean. I don't think I'm dropping frames. I've dropped 6 frames in like the last 4 minutes. So it's all right, not bad. All right. So in this case, we'll actually create the socket. What was that in? I saw something weird. Oh well. We'll create the socket, we'll create the address. Server address equals new inet address. Inet socket address. What do we want? We want, oh no, it's inet address get by name, host being the address, Oh, well, obviously we don't need a, yeah. Okay, well, we'll deal with this in a minute. This becomes address, yeah. And we'll just add, well, we should probably, put that as a separate catch. And of course, yeah, so this will be a return false, return true. And that's, I guess that's pretty much it. And then when we want to actually send data, we send it to a certain port. How long have I been coding? Like 5 years, probably. Not that long, actually. Okay. So so this is really the connection. Like if we connect, we should, the idea is this is UDP. So there's no like, in TCP, when you make a connection, it's actually like an active thing that you do, right? How should I say this? You actually establish a connection to the server acknowledges you, like that you're there, and then the client acknowledges that the server acknowledges that the client acknowledges. Wait, hang on. No, the client acknowledges that the server acknowledged that the client is there, right? So it's called a three-way handshake, and that's what happens with TCP. With UDP, there's nothing like that. So essentially, what you do, like your connection initialization, is not actually a connection. Like you just, like what I'm doing here is not connecting to anything. I'm just initializing stuff, right? And then what happens is, like usually what will happen is I will send a packet to the server to manually be like, hey, by the way, I'm a client and I'm connecting to you. And then the server will be like, okay, you have to set that up manually. Whereas with TCP, when you open a connection, it does that stuff automatically. That's how TCP works. And then if that doesn't work, then it says, oh, I can't connect, right? So we have to implement that stuff manually. So this will actually attempt a connection as well. Like that's how it's supposed to work. Like this should never fail. Socket exception or unknown host exception should never fail. Obviously, unknown host will be something if you type in a weird address, like if I misspell localhost or I enter a weird IP address. Like this should basically never fail. I actually don't know when this will fail, because again, it's not attempting a connection to that address. It's just like if you give it if you type in hello as an IP address, I'm imagining that will probably fail. Let's just look at the source though. Get all by name. So looking for this unknown host. So for example, yeah, like if this is malformed, then it will throw an invalid host exception, right? For example, because it was supposed to be an IPv6, but it's not. Yeah. Mostly for IPv6 stuff, actually. It looks like it throws stuff. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, it seems to do quite a bunch of stuff. So host equals in all case local host, then it gives you the loopback address. So yeah, if it will basically try and validate probably most of this stuff for you. So this is just like a pure textual evaluation. I dropped 12 more frames. Now I'm on 18. Okay, cool. Anyway, so we should set up a server. I'm going to make that as a new project. Rain server. We're going to, it's going to be completely independent, of course. com.theschöner.rain .server. Completely independent application. Server main. I guess we'll just call this. What should we call this? What do I call the main file usually? I'll just call it main. And then we'll do server. Rain server. And so the rain server is going to basically, like in this case, we'll just do something like, I'll feed off args here and I'll say string, I guess port or import equals args dot, what is it? Integer dot pass int args 0. Assuming it starts the server on a specific port. args.length less than 1 turn, probably to do error message. Could probably just, yeah, I'm not going to care about writing great code here. So basically what we'll do now is we'll just do a rain server equals new rain server port. Create that constructor. Private import. This.port equals port. All right, and then as for the code, public void start. We'll actually do this will also be a datagram socket. You can get rid of this. Socket equals new datagram socket. However, we'll give it a port this time, which means that we're essentially starting it as a server. An IP address chosen by the kernel, yes. So this is, yeah. All right, cool. So the next step is basically to just start like a new thread or something that is like our listening thread. So I guess I'll do that. So we'll start a new thread here. The runnable, I guess we could probably just give it a lambda, because I do want to, yeah, I'll just give it a lambda. So I forget how this works in Java, but I think that is good enough. Totally is. Nice. And I said I forgot how this works in Java. That was a total guess. All right, and then we can start the thread. I don't know why every single language like absolutely insists on having different syntax for lambda. Like that's Java's syntax. I think C# uses that, and then C++ is just like that. So interesting. Anyway, so we'll do a while listening, where we have a bool, which is essentially a volatile bool. This probably, volatile really is not necessary in this case. But basically we just essentially want to make sure that this is kind of thread safe, because of reasons. But listening like essentially should never be modified. I'm just gonna basically, we can't really do much, but like this is kind of the, yeah, I mean this is probably fine. I'm not gonna go crazy just yet. Might in the future, we'll see. Okay, so we kind of just want to receive. That's kind of what this is mostly all about. So basically receiving, or like listening, we'll just be receiving raw data, up to 1024 of it, I guess. I'm not really sure what we are going to do here with the size because of stuff, but we'll try and accept a packet that gets given to us. So we'll try and do a socket.receive packet. And then of course we do know the length of it. This is like the max length pretty much, I think. Yeah, and then we can process the packet, which happens here. Okay, cool. Then I don't know if we need to discard it or anything. So if we do receive the packet, so this can just like, I guess, continue or something. At least for now. I imagine that should be fixed. But we've got the packet now. So basically data should be filled with everything we have. So I guess I can just do a process data. And in this case, I guess I will just print out the data. Actually, I imagine that it might be useful to actually print out, to like process this instead, because then we have like, I'm sure we can get like the data from it, as you can see, but also it just gives us some little bit more control. Let me just do this real quick. It gives us a little bit more control over stuff like where it came from. So packet received from packet.get address .get host toString. We'll just do toString. And then the port, I guess, will also be there. Packet dot. So the port has to be somewhere, because we need to know where to send it back. Yeah, there it is. All right. I mean, that's pretty good. And then we got the data. Data. And then, of course, yeah, so we can process the packet. All right, cool. So this should be enough to get us running. Not sure how good it's going to be. I was a surfer in a past life. Well, I'm Australian, so, you know. Although I've never surfed in my life. I wouldn't mind trying, actually. Would be fun. Just haven't had the chance. Okay. Yes, I do work at EA. So yes, Battlefield 1 is pretty good. Looking pretty good. Can't wait to get my paws on that. I'm actually really excited for it, yeah. The only thing I mean, I think everyone knows Infinite Warfare is, like, Call of Duty is going to, well, suck. But the COD 4 remaster, I want to get on that. That should be great. In fact, the Battlefield 1 trailer was so good that EA's stock rose by like 15%, which is huge. But yeah, it's just, yeah, really, really good. I can't wait for any kind of alpha versions I can get my hands on. Do you want to work on Battlefield, etc. in the future? I mean, I wouldn't mind working on like in the future. Like, I really would like to essentially work on maybe like more of like a graphics programming role. I really like graphics programming. And you know, the thing is, it's difficult for me to say like what I want to work on. Like, I like working on core technology, and I am currently working on core technology at EA. So like, I guess like working on some larger projects would be cool. Because I work at Fire Monkeys, which is a relatively like small studio. So I guess scaling that up would be kind of cool. But like, ultimately, I am kind of happy with where I am right now, because, you know, I'm kind of working on what I want to work on. So I don't know. Difficult to say, but yeah, it would be cool to work on like some larger kind of franchises. We're in Australia. I'm in Melbourne. I live in St Kilda, and I work in the city. Well, like on St Kilda Road, but like the suburb is Melbourne. What do I do at EA? Yes, I'm a software engineer. More specifically, I work on the engine team. For EA Melbourne. So basically we make the engine. Specifically, like, I've worked on various aspects of the engine. Currently I'm working on the level editor, trying to get that to be a lot better. Apart from that, I don't know. I do various things. That's kind of the good thing about my job. Like, if I'm kind of feeling bored, I can just mix it up and work on something else, for example. So yeah, I've done a lot of stuff. Not Frostbite. So we've got our own engine that we use for basically, well, pretty much, well, at least starting from pretty much now, I think every EA Mobile title around the world is going to use our engine. So it's pretty big. But the most recent game that got published with it was Need for Speed No Limits for iOS and Android. Specifically, if you've got an iOS device, like if you got an iPhone 6s, you should get Need for Speed No Limits, and you should just look at the graphics because they're really good. I think they're some of the best looking mobile graphics ever. All right, cool. Anyway, it's partly why I hate Android, by the way. I've got quite a bit of experience trying to get Android to behave, and it's just annoying. Even though like it's kind of nice because you can just debug and run Android from Visual Studio, I still prefer iOS though. It's just a bit more stable. Android is just like some devices just do not work. Like there are like graphics driver issues with some devices. Like that's how bad some of this stuff is. So like there are some devices where draw calls just take twice as long as other devices, even though they've got the same chip. Like Android is the worst. Anyway, I think that Battlefield 1 actually does have some Australian stuff in it. So, and this isn't like something internal that I've heard. It's just something that I think I noticed someone's review of the trailer mention. So I believe that, yeah. All right, anyway, enough about me. Let's write this server class. So this is pretty much it. We'll do this for now. We'll do a thread sleep potentially, just because I don't want it to, I guess if there's no packet, like, I guess socket receive will stall until a packet, right? This method blocks until a datagram is received. Perfect. Okay, so we've got the server, so we do server.start. At the very least, let's just do some kind of debug info. So, port. Yeah, I don't really care about anything else for now. Okay. Oh, you're from Berwick. I've got quite a few friends who live in Berwick. Cool. Anyway, let's run this. I guess it should work. That's not what I wanted at all. Terminated. Oh, there are no arguments. Can we run this outside? Not easily, right? Freaking. Yeah, it's not easy to run this stuff. 8192, right? That's how we roll. Wait, hang on. That's only gonna run this on? Hang on. Yeah, this is for main one. Yeah, okay, cool. Right, so we've started the server, I guess. So now we can really probably try and start the client. Server's, I'll just leave the server running. It shouldn't crash or anything. It should be blocked on, I don't know if this works correctly in Java, but if I hit pause, what thread do I want? What thread do I want? These do not look like the right threads whatsoever. Where's my thread? Oh, here it is. Yeah, so we're stuck on this line, right? Because it's going to block on that line. This should be, okay. It's called thread 0. Let's just call it something. So I believe the name goes first. No. Raincloud Rain server listener thread. All right, so now if we hit pause, we should have the Rain server listener thread, which is blocked. Okay, great. Just verifying that everything is correct here, and it is. Sweet. What do I think of IntelliJ? I don't mind it too much. I've just gotten used to Eclipse, and every time I try to use IntelliJ, I just don't like. I'm not particularly fond of the aesthetic. I think Eclipse generally just looks a bit cleaner and is a bit better, and for me, just because I'm used to it, is easier. And again, I don't use Java that much to warrant like potentially trying a different IDE. So I don't really care, honestly. Like a lot of people always tell me that, oh, but the features are so much better. I have no problem programming in Eclipse in Java. Like there's nothing that I'm just like, oh man, I wish I could type fast. Like there's nothing that I really am missing. Like obviously I don't know what I'm missing, but on the other hand, it's like I'm perfectly content with the minimal amount of Java code that I do write nowadays to just use Eclipse for that. Anyway, so yeah, so we're trying to connect. I guess we can probably do some kind of sending of data. That should be good. So as far as sending data goes, I've got a little snippet here as well that I can use from ChanChat, which basically just all we have to do is form a packet, use a socket to send it, and then we're done. So this should be really easy. So let's do something like let's just do something. This is probably just for now, but I maybe might do something like socket. So I guess we'll construct the packet first. So we have data, we have length, we have a server address, and we have port. Sure. And then we can just do socket send packet. So if we do something like this, I think we'll just be able to do something like private rain client equals new rain client address. We'll do this, port done. Client connect, client send. We'll just do something like hello to, or get, I think it's get bytes. Yeah. Okay, so this should probably work. Let's test it out. No clue if that did anything. Let's stop this and go back. Okay, there we go. So it looks like the server said that we received a packet from this with this port. Again, the port gets assigned randomly, it doesn't matter what it is. And then we received a byte array, which was useless because we didn't actually print the data from it. But there you go. So we're done. That's now working. Okay, good. So that was easy. Let's do something a bit more cool now. Why don't you like the dark theme for? I do use the dark theme for Visual Studio. I just don't use it for Eclipse because like I haven't found a dark theme that actually looks nice. All of them like are missing, like some of them have bad like font colors for certain things, and so it's hard to read, or they just like some of them like haven't styled the scroll bars or whatever. It just looks disgusting. So one of the most important like aspects for me, as shallow as this sounds, is like how good an IDE looks. So the fact that this is nice and clean, even though less functional than IntelliJ, means I prefer this. So because it's all about the code. Like the way that the code gets presented to me is really the only thing I care about. I don't care about how quickly I can refactor something or whatever. I don't really care about that. So yeah. Okay, cool. So there we have that. That's pretty good. And if we run this again, by the way, it should basically do the same thing, right? So if I go back here, you can see the server has now also done this. The port's different, which is fine, but you can see that, yeah, we've essentially done something like this. I can't code this in Visual Studio because this is Java, and Visual Studio does not support Java. If I was doing this in C# or C++, I would be using Visual Studio, don't you worry, because Visual Studio is the best IDE ever. Best IDE ever. Best IDE ever. IDEVA. All right. Is there actually a Java plugin for Visual Studio? Like, I don't care that much. I don't do much Java, as I said, so this is fine. All right. So we've sent the word hello, which is good. That's all we've sent. So I believe if we were to go to Rain server just for fun, and well, let's stop the server first of all, and maybe do something like new string packet.getData. Start the server again. Is there an easy way to just debug this? Okay, good. And then start the client. Then the server says hello, which is good because we sent the word hello from the client. So we have some communication now, which is good. We can send stuff repeatedly as well if we really want to. So if we should test that, I guess. So we'll just do a little while true, where we have. Really, see, this is why I hate Java. Like, why is this an error? Like, unreachable code, yeah, I know that. Like, is this gonna make it calm down? Yes. See, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, this makes it calm down, as if this makes this reachable now. Anyway. Okay, Avalier is asking if there's an alternative in C# to Java's buffered image for doing quick and easy 2D graphics. Kind of. You have to basically make a Windows form, and then you can obtain, I think you can create a panel in the form and then get like a pointer or like a thing to the graphic, like to the actual pixels that make up that panel. It might not be called a panel or something. I'm not 100% sure, but I have done this in C#, so it's totally possible. It is a little bit more work though. It's like the one thing that actually takes more work in C# than in Java. And that is that. But like if you just want to draw graphics, it's really easy to do that. You can obtain like a graphics context and then just draw like rectangles. But if you want to draw per pixels, like you want to give it an array of pixels, and that's a little bit more advanced. Okay, cool. Anyway, so we'll do this. We'll obviously put in a thread.sleep, maybe like 1,000 milliseconds here. And we'll run the server. And then we'll run the client. And then, so the server, as you can see, is continually receiving the word hello. Let's do something a bit cooler. Stop that and this. Let's maybe send something like this. So we'll start the server, start the client. Okay, so now we're sending, oh my goodness, I forgot to do the most important part, which is this. Okay, so now you can see we're incrementing something just so you can see that it really is. Yeah, you can see that it really is incrementing. Okay, cool. And you can see that obviously we're sending that data from the server, sorry, from the client to the server. We could probably do something else like acknowledge its existence, which is probably the last thing we're going to do. So today on the stream, I just want to finish up. I'm probably going to finish up in about 40 minutes or so. I just essentially want to make it so that we establish a constant connection, potentially keep polling to make sure the connection is currently active. Maybe like once every 5 seconds or something like that. I don't know. And then essentially like potentially establish some kind of API that we can use for sending bytes, or potentially databases, because we can just get the bytes from that, like, I mean, the serialization databases. And we'll have to also, one thing I'll do quickly right now is just hook up the serialization library as a dependency onto Rain server, because we'll have to use that. I'll be right back. You can't have a Chono live stream without fruit, so here's the banana. All right. Where do I put this? Here. All right. So, I guess we'll receive like a client attempt, like a. I think we'll potentially process it as an actual database. So we'll potentially send a database which contains like. I'll just be quiet because I'm eating a banana. That's the idea. If anything goes wrong, we should return null probably, but this is just all weird. Like there are assertions instead of like error checking. That's okay. Code monkey. Is that the right syntax? Yeah, it is. Okay, so we can print the name of the object potentially. Just for fun. So let's try and send a database with some objects instead of this. Maybe repeatedly, I guess. Yeah, having a good repeat check is good. So we'll do something like client send. Whoops. So test object will be the name of this thing. And then we'll send client send. We'll give a, we'll overload this so that it takes in a database. And then we'll just call send get bytes. Oh, that's right. We have to allocate for this. This is a little annoying, but it's okay. So basically, well, unfortunately, it means that every time we want to send a packet, we have to have an allocation, like a heap allocation. But I don't think I'm going to bother speeding that up unless it's necessary, which probably won't be. I doubt this will be the bottleneck. It's like we won't be sending that many packets. Obviously, we could have like a arena allocator or like a ring buffer. It's probably a good idea, actually. But I don't think I care that much. Okay. So there we go. We're receiving test object every... best place to talk to me after the stream is to join my Slack channel, and then you can message me directly. I use Slack all the time, and I've even got it on my phone. So like, when I'm like on the train or something and I'm bored, high chance I'll probably talk to you. So go to slack.thechannel.com and join Slack if you haven't already. So we'll do a little dump of the database, right? Just so that we can kind of debug this properly, because I love writing debugging code. Absolutely love it. Makes developing much easier. Yeah, Slack is like an instant messenger kind of thing for Teams. You can also share like a lot of stuff. Like you can share images and you can talk, like there are different channels. So you can talk about like the game programming series. You can talk about Java. This is like a channel I've got for C++. There's a channel for Sparky. And you can even use cool integrations like the GitHub integration. So basically every time something happens on GitHub, like on Sparky's GitHub, it posts a notification. So it's a cool thing that you can have on your phone to get notified every time like something happens, and you can easily scroll through it. And anyway, Slack is great. I really like it. Okay, so we've got, we can print object count, whatever. Then we'll just do a normal print line, and then we'll do objects, and then we'll just do for in I equals 0, I is less than database.objects.size, I plus. We could print data, I guess, as well. Yeah, probably not the worst idea. So we'll do like, so we'll get the current object, right? Let's just go through, yeah. This will be better. Oh, we can do that actually, but anyway. Object in database. Objects. Let's see. So we've got obj. We'll do like let's just do this. Object name plus object get name, object size, get size, object field count, object fields dot size. Fields, and then we'll do a fields thing. How do we know what type this is? That's a bit flawed. Oh, it's public. Huh. Yeah, it is. So types are what now? They're a byte and they exist in type. So let's do a quick public static string type to string, where basically, oh wait, this is Java. Oh no, but wait, it's a byte. I was gonna say we can just print enums. So switch, and this is gonna be a byte type switch, and this is they're all bytes anyway. Lols. Anyway, case. How do I, is there a good way to refactor this? I don't know. I'm just gonna quickly open up Visual Studio to format this properly because I don't know how to do it in Eclipse. Come on, you can do it. Just do it in Sparky. Maybe I should have done. In fact, that would be easy to do in Sublime Text. This is a joint effort getting this code formatted. Come on. In Sublime Text, I'll just do that. Oh, I guess that's good enough. All right. And then, yeah, this will just be like return unknown. And I spelled that wrong. Byte, short, char, integer, long, float, double, boolean. I guess I could just do, yeah, okay. valid. Usually I actually indent my, I don't think Eclipse wants me to, but oh, that's just weird. Usually I kind of indent these like that. But anyway, I guess we'll deal with that. Okay, this just asserts false, whatever. That's good. So now we have something like this. This just helps us debug a little bit because we can do type to string that. And that's, sorry, that's obviously the field type. And this needs to have two tabs. Okay, cool. So there we go. That's looking pretty good to me. Obviously, now that we have this, we should switch. I guess we can just for fun print the raw data, because that is fun. So this will be like a byte thing, right? So this will be I less than field dot, actually, yeah, okay. This will be type dot get size field dot type I plus raw data plus equals, and no, I'm not going to use string builder for this because this is just debug code anyway. So relax, all you Java people. Field dot data I. Okay, so now we should have, I'm just wondering if we should print this in hex or something. No, I don't really care that much. Do I? How do we print in hex anyway? It's, I guess we can use a printer, like a format, whatever, this will be fine. So raw data will be raw data. And then we'll have a switch for the field type with a huge switch statement again. Except this time, this will just be data plus equals what is it? Field dot, well, get byte, we'll say. Obviously for unknown, that's not gonna work out. Get short. I know this is a little bit annoying, but whatever. We have to do it. Done. Cool. That's data, and then we'll print data. And then a new line. And then that should be it. And then I guess we'll print like another one of these puppies when we're done. Cool. So there we go. So now we can dump an entire RainCloud database instead of doing this weird thing. So we'll do dump database DB. See what this does. We'll start the server. Debug as Java application. We'll go back here and let's just want to send one of these. So I guess I can just do this. Or we can alternatively get it to sleep for a very long time. Okay. Cool. So it didn't crash, first of all. That's always good news. But secondly, okay, so there we go. The RainCloud database. Connection is the name of it. Good. It's 49 bytes. We've got one object. And here are the objects. So object name is test object, size is 24, and it's got 0 fields. So there are no fields. Okay, cool. Let's now send some, just for fun, let's send this object. So we'll deserialize, when we deserialize sets like this thing, we'll just for some reason bring this out. Because we'll keep that, and then we'll just send this database instead. So instead of doing this, we'll send that other DB. So server, I didn't really need to end the server, but debug as Java application. Start this up. Ooh, already news. Whoops, I guess I didn't, or I tried to start it twice or something. Oh, because I'm in the server? That's weird. All right, let's start the server. Debug as, start the game. Cool. There seemed to be quite a bit of stuff there. All right, let's take a look at this. So we have name is screen. We've got 84 bytes. We've got one object. Object name is resolution. It's 63 bytes. I forgot to put the bytes there. Field count 3. So we have width. It's an integer. The raw data is, well, whatever that is. On negative 36, lol. Java's signed bytes are comedy. And the data is 220 for width, 168 for height. That seems low. And then 3 for scale. Why is that 220? Shouldn't that be like 300? I swear this should be 300. Anyway, 168 is correct. Like, I'm not saying that my code is, like, it's must be something weird. Oh, minus 80. That's right. Okay. All good. Don't worry, I read my own code wrong. All right, there you go. So the raw data for this, I don't think raw data really needs to get sent, but whatever. So it's got 1 byte of data basically. A few things that I want to fix up here is or in the Rain server, I should say, is so I want to make sure that when I do the size, I print bytes just because it looks nice. And then the other thing I want to do was if fields dot size is 0, obj fields dot size 0, continue. And then obviously this will just be cool. And that should be all fixed. So yeah, so you can see now that we kind of have like more or less a way to easily, someone's calling me. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. All right, so where did I stop? Oh yeah, I know exactly where I left off. So what I'll do now is probably actually get connect to connect. So attempt connection will be a private method that essentially constructs a database called connection. I imagine we'll take in some information such as, so we'll have like client info, no, that's right. Fields are not fields are primitives. Can we do new RC string? Is that how we're supposed to do it? No. Dot create. Username. Cherno for now. So this will be the opening kind of connection attempt. We'll probably send other information. I can't really think of much more to send right now though. Maybe we'll make another one called attempt info. And this will be like as simple as just I don't know if I want to construct this database every single time, but okay, so attempt info. And then we'll try and send that, I guess. And then we can kind of sit here as we try and acknowledge the result. Obviously, we'll do this on another thread and all of this stuff because we don't want to freaking, do this anyway. This will not be this will be posted to YouTube in the form of it'll be posted to Cherno archive, so you'll be able to see it there. But you won't be able to. It won't be on the Cherno project channel. Because this isn't really an episode of Game Programming. This is me kind of figuring out how stuff works. Okay, so we'll do, let's see, we want to, I've got like 10 minutes left here. So essentially, I think all I'll do right now is just, I was going to do something cool, or was I? So how does receive work in our Cherno chat thing? Exactly the same way as it does for the server. Nice. Okay, so I guess we'll try and receive a database. So we have Rain server, which has a receive thing. We might steal this listen thread, because I guess we'll always want to be listening for stuff from the server. And maybe I'll refactor this out a little bit because it looks like we're repeating code, and we are. And then I also want to do that. We'll start that first, and then we'll attempt a connection. So all that this needs to do is send this, and obviously this listen thread. So we'll have a block until connected, which will just like essentially steal that packet size. Process. Okay. Don't care about that. Like this doesn't really need to be, I guess the first packet it receives should be a, like, I don't know if I really want to do this, like, as in, I don't know if the listener thread should be the one that attempts the connection, because maybe that's a special kind of thing. Although maybe not, because maybe like if you lose connection halfway through the game, you want to maybe connect again or something. So here's what we'll do. We'll just do a quick little, we'll do an acknowledgement packet. So if it equals acknowledgement, then pull info and connected equals true. This will probably have to be synchronized in some kind of way as well. But that's what we'll do right now. And then block until connected, while not connected, do something. So we block until connected and then we return true, right? And maybe this will like have a timeout, obviously. We don't want to do this forever. But basically this will just block the current thread until we are connected. So that should kind of work, I believe. Now the thing that we need to do is if we get a connection packet, on the server, obviously, we'll dump the database, whatever. ifdb.getName dot equals connection. Then we need to send dot get address, get port. And then this will be basically constructing a database. Called ACK. That's all we really need to send, by the way. Like we might have other stuff in there later, but for now that's pretty much it. So we'll just send db. How do we send that? Or how do we choose where to send that to? Do we not have that yet? I guess we don't. Oh, of course, yeah, we wouldn't. So where's our send in the client? that. Okay, so server, this becomes an address, and this becomes a port. Cool. Obviously we need to also make an overload for this, which just does that. Database, data, address, port, and then this does port. So this should kind of work, I think. And then yeah, so we acknowledge that. We'll also potentially add a client to list of clients and start maintaining pinging this client. So we have to keep checking to make sure the client's still connected successfully and all that stuff. Okay, cool. So there we have this. That should, I believe that should work. So we can test this out pretty easily. Because if connect returns true, we can do that. So let's start this up. Let's start the server. Let's start the client. We just crashed. That's odd. Why did we crash? Attempt connection crashed when we did the send database. Whoa, that's probably an issue with our serialization library. Lols. 104. What? That's a bit weird. Is this because we made like a... And what crashed? The client crashed. When attempting a connection. What did it send? Database call connect. This should work. Right? 2 objects. Maybe we've never tested 2 objects before. Uh-oh. Database get bytes. Yeah, I bet this is the second object. Lols. That's not good. No, assertions aren't on. Actually, that's probably a good idea. I should probably turn assertions on. For both. Where is this? Is it in VM arguments? I'm not 100% sure where this is at. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Assert equals header what? Deserialize. Huh, that's funny. How deserialization like code turns out throws an assertion. What? How is this an assertion? That's weird. Oh, really? You can't get past an assertion in Java? What? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, worst. Why is this? Let's just comment that out. Is this a useful one? Yeah, it looks like it. So, write bytes, field.data, 0 and value. Destination.length greater than pointer, so obviously it's failing because destination.length is 4 and pointer is 0. What? This isn't failing. Oh, well, I guess it's because it should be equal to. They all should be equal to. Lols. Oh, what? Okay. Maybe this is an actual error. Yeah, I think this is part of the error. Pointer plus source.length. Yeah, that's correct. So this is an error. And I bet this is in the objects. I can't be bothered debugging this right now. All right, whatever. We need to fix that, unfortunately. But before we do that, we need to, I'm just going to not add this object because I don't care that much about it. Server's still running, right? Yes, it is. I don't care about assertions right now. Really? What is wrong with this? I really don't get it. Maybe, I guess it's the string that's probably throwing everything off, right? I don't think I tested strings very well. Yeah, I forgot about strings entirely, actually. Like as in, I didn't even do them in the dump. Like in the, dumping the stuff. Okay, so how big is a string technically? Plus equals 1 plus 4. So 1 plus 4 plus the character size. So update size has to get called. It does. Name length, name, size, count, characters, and then container type. That seems okay. 2 plus 4, of course. What? Set name. That updates the size. Cool. This looks okay. That's, I'm assuming, is fine. Because they're 2 bytes. Chars. Let's deserialize, which isn't getting called. Turns out strings are bad news. Wait, what does update size do exactly? Size plus equals get data size, which is characters at length times the size of a char, which is 2 bytes. Odd. Hang on, the database size does take into account string sizes, right? Well, it has to. Otherwise that would be a little bit ridiculous. Yeah, it would. Because every time you add something... Oh, well, we add an object. So, adding an object means that we plus equals the object size, which I also imagine would happen when we add fields and stuff. So when we add a string, we plus equals the string dot get size, which returns size, which we know should ideally get calculated correctly. Unless I'm missing something, which I don't think I am. We've got the plus equals there, which is correct. We don't have our own size thing. The stuff that it really does write out is should be correct. Let's look at the size actually. Size is 79 for this string. the characters that it contains are apparently just not even accessible. Size is 79. The name is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 bytes. Name, yeah. Name is the name length. So we're on 2 bytes plus 10, so that's 12, 13, 17. Count is an integer, 21, plus whatever characters are in there. Are there really that many characters? I guess if they're 2 bytes, but still, that leaves us with what? What is that, like 58? 58 divided by 2, 29. 29 characters. That's wrong, though. That's got to be wrong. Because we can't have 29 characters. We've got, like, 6 characters. Let's debug this string stuff. It's very dodgy. Data is that. Okay, so set name. Count is data.length. So string count is now 6. Characters. Okay, so what's the size right now? Why can't we see this stuff? Oh, because this is a static method. Okay, fair enough. Size is 19. Okay, so far, is that correct? So we have 1 byte. What's the name? 1 byte plus 2 bytes, so 3 bytes plus 8, it looks like. Set name. What does that give us, though? Name length 8. So we know that it's 8 bytes. Yeah, plus 3, so that's 11. 11, 15. And I guess 19 for the size. Okay, that's correct. So size is 19. Now we convert the data to a char array, which gives us a char array of 6 chars, which should be 12 bytes. And yet it looks like get data size gives us something more than 12 bytes. Does it though? 31 bytes. No, that's 19 plus 12 is 31. How did we get to 79? And then it returns a string. So that is correct. Hang on a minute. How on earth did we get to... Why is my face so red? That is odd. Anyway, how did we get to... How did the size get to be 79? That doesn't make any sense. So this is a 79, but this is inside database. This is the database size. One field? What fields do we have? Hold your horses. What field is this? We don't have a field, do we? What? Oh, this thing. No. Oh, hang on. That field's being added to client info, not to temp info. Okay, but that still doesn't... Okay, cool. So we do have a field, apparently. But that still doesn't explain the error. String count. So this is what causes the crash, it seems. because the pointer is 61. Yeah, that doesn't work. We don't have enough space. That's why it crashes. So I guess it is strings specifically that are bad news. Like if we don't do this, which was supposed to be a temp info anyway, then does this work is the question. Okay, it did. And looks like the server received that. Let's terminate that. So a field and a string doesn't work. I guess the string does mess something up. Okay, let's quickly run the server again and run the client again, and we'll have to fix those issues later, I guess. Debug as Java application and run this. Okay, so I don't see any kind of successfully connected message. And I guess we're in the waiting period. So which thread would this be? Main, block until connected. Okay, so clearly we haven't received anything. And this is still in the receive phase. Okay. So let's change this to, first of all, be rain client listen in a thread. I want to debug the server. With its receiving thing. So we'll start the server. We'll start the client. Okay, so does name equal connection? It does. So send acknowledgement packet. We make a thing called ACK, and then we send it to a certain address and a certain port. Checks out. Oh, no, it doesn't. Lols. We forgot to actually send it. That's funny. Yeah, I now look at the chat and I see you guys. Okay, you got there. Nice. I did not. Yeah, maybe I should look at the chat more often. All right, doesn't matter. No acknowledgement. Ooh, are there two servers? That's dodgy. Okay, still did not get an acknowledgement though, which is odd. Let's debug. Oh my goodness. Eclipse is a little bit annoying sometimes. No acknowledgement, strangely enough. Okay, new plan. Server seems to be good because we definitely do send, and we send it, and we don't seem to get any errors, any IO exceptions or anything. So the packet has been sent. So the client is a bit doge then, a bit dodgy. I have to go soon as well, which is interesting. Okay, so let's fix this quickly. So what do? We do attempt connection, which just sends that, and then we have started the listener thread. So this should be listening as true. So this will be continually waiting for something. Let's see if we actually receive something. That's going to be the next step. Oh, we do. Process. So that works. Connected is true now. What on earth? What is going on our other thread? Oh, it worked now. What? But I tried it just then and it didn't. Let's try it again with no breakpoints. That was a touch interesting. What? What is going on? What on earth is up? What in the world is up with this? Client received acknowledgement packet. Is it this weird block until connected thing? Is that the issue? Because this makes no sense. Yeah, then what the shiz is up? How does this... Why does it not work? Why? I mean, I'm not an expert on concurrency in Java, but why is that an issue? Let's set this to volatile, like I wanted to in the beginning, and see if the JVM's doing something extremely weird. Which it could be, but it's still a bit dodgy. Ha! That works. Okay. Turns out that variable needs to be volatile. Interesting. Classic Java. Alright, cool. So we now get a successful connection to the server. Let me commit that real quick. Except I need to chuck in the other project, which is going to be a problem. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I want to end the stream here. So we got pretty far actually. We've now got a bit of a handshake going on between the server and the client. We can send serialization databases. We figured out that there was some kind of bug with the Rain Cloud serialization library as well that I need to investigate and probably will. But yeah, essentially, I think we got some pretty good work done. We can send objects between, we can send RC objects between the server and the client, and we can even acknowledge like a connection has successfully occurred, which is cool. All right, so any questions? I don't have time to answer questions, unfortunately. But I'll answer one by Terminator 24, because he literally like said question. When you asked about new stuff for your channel, are you considering to do an OpenGL series? I have been watching Thin Matrix, but would also like to see your perspective on it. Is this something you have been considering to do or would consider to do? I really want to do an OpenGL series, like a proper one, like the best one ever. But I just don't have time. It'll probably be one of those things that takes me like a year to finish. Like I kind of want to make all the episodes first before I start, or at least make like 10 episodes before I start releasing any, just so that I don't stretch them out over too long. But I really want to do a proper kind of OpenGL series. It'll be done in C++, not in Java. And then potentially when I do an OpenGL series after that, I'll probably do like a DirectX 11 or whatever series. But yeah, I mean, like, it would be good to... I wish I had a turkey emote, but I don't. I don't know how emoticons work in Twitch, so... But yeah, like, I wouldn't do it in Java because, well, like, it would be very cumbersome to do it in Java because, like, a lot of the ways that OpenGL works is, like, with buffers, and dealing with buffers is difficult in Java. Like, you have to wrap everything in, like, float buffers or byte buffers, and it's just all annoying. Like, in C++, you can just, like, if you look... I've actually still got, like, Sparky open, but if you look at, like, the bash renderer, like, submit method, for example, you can see that like begin obtains a pointer. It obtains a pointer to essentially the vertex buffer, the OpenGL vertex buffer, and then like submit, all it does is like adds a vertex, then increments that pointer, and then it just does that like 4 times, right? It's incredibly simple. It looks very neat. It's really, really great looking code. Whereas this in Java, wow, like this would be like new float buffer, it would just be awful, and it would be slower. I guarantee you it would be slower, not just because it's Java, but also because of the extra like allocations that you would inevitably have to do. So I just like, there's no like real comparison really. But yeah. Okay, anyway. I will hug a koala for you. Yeah. Is DirectX 12 open to devs? Yes, they've got a lot of low level stuff in there. It's kind of like Vulkan in the sense that it's very kind of low level and verbose, and it takes a lot of code to do very simple things. So me personally, I haven't used DirectX 12 properly, but from what I've seen, I wouldn't really be taking advantage of many of the things. DirectX 12 is great if you want really, really fine control over devices, which again is only really that useful to if you're like a AAA game studio, or like at least a large studio which also has the resources to actually do this. But it's just for most cases, unless you're doing bleeding edge stuff, it's just not necessary. Do you ride kangaroos around town? Totally. Is the graphics card just not being used at all when using Java libraries? I don't know. I think that parts of the Abstract Window Toolkit, AWT, or possibly Swing, does do hardware acceleration stuff behind the scenes. I know that Graphics 2D, or like some of their graphics stuff, is potentially hardware accelerated. Obviously, if you're drawing pixels, it's not, so this wouldn't be. But if you're drawing like rectangles and stuff like that, potentially it could be in theory, it could be hardware accelerated. It depends on the implementation of Java, I guess, or like the I should say the version, like whatever they've done. I haven't read the source code. DirectX 11 is probably the best in my opinion, is the best and the cleanest graphics API that ever exists. Like it's really good, especially compared to like OpenGL is terrible. Like OpenGL is, I used to say OpenGL is terrible, but Vulkan is potentially worse. Um, um, Vulkan is. I'm sorry. Like I know a lot of people really were looking forward to Vulkan, but as a developer, it's very bad. I'm sorry. I've been dealing with Vulkan for like months, like way before it was released, at work, and I just know that. Luckily, I haven't had the misfortune of having too much exposure to it, although I have had my fair share. But I just know that the people who sit next to me, who have to deal with Vulkan, just want to kill themselves. So it's pretty bad. Let me just put it this way. But like hopefully, I don't know. Like I want to say that the performance is good, but like I mean, we personally haven't I haven't had a chance to test it on any good Android devices. Windows, like I don't know. I still like it's yeah. Vulkan is. I'm sorry. Vulkan is not good. Soz. Like I'll still probably use it and stuff. Here's the thing though. I imagine it'll get a lot better. This is early days, so this is still early days. It's still kind of in beta, even though they said they would release it last year and then they didn't. And then anyway, the point is, it's still kind of in beta. So I expect that once the driver support gets better and a lot of the stuff will kind of standardize itself out, maybe they'll do some API changes, it will be decent. But right now, it's worse than OpenGL, and that's saying something, like, because OpenGL is pretty bad. All right, I'm gonna leave you with that. So have fun hating Vulkan. I don't want to hate on Vulkan or anything, but it's just not that great. DirectX 11 is still my favorite API and probably will be forever. What makes Java so great for development? Nothing. The fact that I started with it and it's kind of quick. It's like a cross-platform version of C# for me, but C# is better. So I don't know what to call it. Like if C# was easily cross-platform, like I know C# has mono or whatever, that doesn't count though. Like if C# was fully native, like cross-platform, then I would ditch Java pretty quickly. But I don't know, like I don't mind Java too much. It's just that it's unfortunately not that great either. But it is like properly cross-platform, and some things in it are nice. Like for example, the code hot swapping is fantastic. Like in C# you can do like edit and continue. You can even do that with native code to some extent. But with C# you still have to like hit a breakpoint and like you have to pause execution, modify the thing, and then it's slow, right? Whereas with C#, whereas with Java it's instant. All right, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Yeah, as always, like if you want to get this code, remember, like this will eventually be converted into a game programming episode. Like, as in, once I figure out how to do all this multiplayer stuff, I'll start putting out the multiplayer episodes. So there will be proper tutorials for everything I've written here. However, this code is available on GitHub if you are a patron. So if you go to patreon.com/thecherno and pledge like $5, I think it is, per month or more, then you get access to this stuff instantly. Even before, like, not only do you get access to the source code of game programming, you also get access to stuff that hasn't even made it into an episode yet. So like this is like a separate branch. So if you want to do that, you can. It's up to you. And also it supports the series and me, which is great. But other than that, yeah, don't forget to join my Slack, as someone has just posted that. And this video particularly this stream will be posted to youtube.com/Cherno archive. as like a kind of view on demand type video. All right. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Hopefully I'll stream more often. There should be another episode of Game Programming this week, and a Sparky devlog I think should go up possibly tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. Goodbye. Vroom.